First of all, there has been a lot of discussion about the kind of how to use data and all that, and questioning the data quality. I heard quite interesting story from you, what happened in your environment, Eevi.
You're talking about the coffee case.
I'm talking about the coffee case.
Yeah, we had an end user complaint that there is something wrong with our data, particularly sales data, which is kind of an important data set when you're in retail. And the complaint was that there is too much data, so it must be duplicates. Duplicates are coming somewhere. Go and fix it. So this isn't like much to work with. In the beginning, it took some time because data can have duplicates erupt in many places, but we usually take care of that. So we were quite surprised to hear this. And yeah, it took, I think, several days, like trying to find out what actually causes these duplicates. And in the end, no, there were no duplicates, or the data was correct. But we had a campaign in Prisma that we sold coffee for quite a low price, and you could get 3 packets on that price. So basically, every customer who went to Prisma bought 3 packets of discount coffee, and that ended up showing us an anomaly in our sales data. So Finns do love their coffee.
Okay, yeah. And then the person who asked the question was pretty happy in the end, I believe.
Yeah. It's nice to get good sales.
Yeah. What about Janne, Karri? Any similar kind of?
Thinking aloud that during over a decade in this industry, I think I don't know when to cry or laugh when we're talking about data development, as Joe said, that a lot of funny stuff in most places have seen.
Yeah, investment banking is quite serious. So but we do sort of have problems, of course, like every organization, with data quality. So
yeah, we can discuss those later. Yeah. Okay. What about then? Just to give the idea how broadly you are serving your kind of end customers, if you think about the data work that you deliver in the organization. So how broadly the data is kind of touching your organization that you guys are dealing with? If we start with Karri first.
Well, we're a small organization, 230 people, so the end goal is that, of course, everybody is touched by the data because everybody should be using it. But it's more sort of line of business at the moment, departments. Some are more self-service, others are more sort of data consumers, but our sort of plan or goal is that the whole organization is touched by what we're doing.
Yeah, all right. What about Janne?
Globally, 5,200 something different aspect, of course, serving in a data related, but should be, as Karri said, to all, to everybody.
Yeah, that's a pretty huge crowd. What about escrow?
Yeah, we do have reports even in our stores that are based on our data, so everywhere around Finland. And also we share data outside our organization, so to suppliers, for instance. So, yeah, pretty big crowd.
Pretty massive impact on the kind of business, I would argue. What about then? We were discussing about, or Joe was mentioning about the agility in the beginning and then the continuous delivery. That's a big topic that we discuss, and I'm sure people have been hearing from us that is an important piece. But how does it kind of, practical terms, what does it mean in your organization? If we start from Janne first.
Agility.
Yeah, and the continuous delivery.
We do the agility, yeah, definitely.
Well, depending how you define.
We just frame it as it working suitable for us, even though that there are safe and then you have a Scrum, but we take the best parts and try to cope it. But continuous delivery is, of course, something that comes from the data ops side, that we think about the agility, whatever that means, and automation, and of course, how do we can improve it in future.
Okay. What about Karri? You mentioned something about your kind of there has been some improvements.
Yeah, we're sort of as an organization, have been using ADE and generally speaking the cloud for a very short time. So we're just coming up on a year now as a sort of transitioning into the cloud. Basically, before that, we were all on-premise and a very different data stack and different tools. So it's been quite a big difference now. There's not a big sort of history yet with ADE, but we have at least the perception of agility in the sense that we can go to production much faster than once every 9 months that we did it last time. So this is, you could say, an improvement.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I would say it means like collaborating with the business and IT departments and working together on issues, not just like here are the specs and the deadline, now go do it kind of stuff, but actually like together finding the minimum lovable product.
Ooh, haven't heard that before. New term for me. So let's do some kind of a changing the pace a bit. Speed questions. Kind of if you can answer with one word, good. If you can't, 2 is okay, 3 kind of max. Let's see. How long you been using ADE? Simple one.
2 years in production.
A year.
3
years.
You said rapid.
Yeah. Correct. How many source systems you are dealing with ADE?
40.
Currently 6, I think.
40 to 50.
40 to 50.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to ask our specialist there.
Yeah, we're gonna get to this kind of topic about knowing stuff more in detail. So how large is your data team? Let's
30-ish people.
6 plus 15 consultants, I think.
Yeah.
Roughly 80, combining internal and external.
Yeah, all right. Gives a bit on the scale, kind of how you work. Kind of in the past, and I think if I listened carefully what Joe was saying, still some companies are treating the data warehouse as a project and let's try to fix it, whatever problems we might have. And then you hand it over to some ops people maybe, or not. It just lives its own life. Have you had any changes on that? Kind of, if you look at it from the delivery type of model and then pushing the outcomes to ops teams, or how do you work nowadays?
Well, okay. I've only ever worked in DevOps teams, so what you build, you maintain. And, well, I think that's a good way to do it, because what goes around comes back around, so you better do a good job.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have sort of a similar situation, because at the end of the day, we own it, even though we have a large pool of consultants working with us. So the idea is that then the development team is the ops team also, but still early days. So we'll see how that sort of goes.
Same for us. So the team handles the dev and ops.
Any kind of idea have you really calculated or analyzed how much time you spend between the ops part and then building really new stuff?
Minimize the ops.
Yeah, which means
I would say that you asked me this question and I was thinking about that the ops cost have basically gone down, but same time the OPEX cost, because you have the 80 people, so development cost is raised up. So
yeah, but actually it sounds like that you are spending the money in the right place.
Hopefully. Then I go to the Exco and say AI.
Yeah, sure. What about Eevi in the same kind of part, the ratio?
Yeah, minimize, always trying to minimize, and then kind of also spend some time doing like continuous improvement, so you don't get technical debt in the long run. So constantly improving, trying to kind of spend 10 to 15% of development time to continuous improvement.
Wow. Yeah.
One thing about that technical debt, that you just can't avoid it. It's something that you have a case that you're focusing on your sprint or your increment or whatever, and then CEO comes in and we need it now. You do it. So you do some solution for them like this. And then you have a technical debt because it's like we need it in an hour, 2 hours tomorrow. So it's nothing wrong to have a technical debt. It just needs to be visible for everybody that hey, we know that we needed to do a quick fix, but now let's put it on the table that let's demolish it away.
Yeah. Okay. What about if you look at the journey, kind of good mix of years using ADE, kind of based on the knowledge what you have now, and you would start the journey all over again, anything that you would do differently?
Would have been in the first day or the ground zero, they have to develop a guideline ready. So you have a default for smoke test, you have a pattern designs, you have everything like set that everybody is doing the same way. Because when we started there was like 5 and now it's 80. And when we were like something like 15 and out of those 15 like dozens are doing ADE. So almost you had a dozen of ways of using ADE and doing the development.
Yeah, I agree. When we started, it was like 5 people, and it kind of organically evolved. And then when it started scaling out, it's just, you have to have some kind of guidelines. So I wish we'd written something down, and that's just like something that we could iterate over, have some guidelines and then iterate when there's a large group of people trying to find the best way to do things.
Yeah.
So you have hope.
Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of developer guidelines. Unfortunately, they're all for the old on-premise systems. And so, yeah.
But anything addition to what you
I would say that, related to what Joe was talking about, data modeling, I think that's one of the things that we have done very well, because we have a separate team together with some subject matter experts who are doing logical data modeling for the bank. So that's our blueprint to implement. But then all this other stuff around ADE in terms of the architecture and things like that, I think we maybe should have planned a little bit further than we did originally. It would have probably made sort of the implementation horizon a little bit easier to maintain.
Yeah. All right. What about if you look at the data, obviously it's core what you guys do. What is the biggest challenge that you are facing nowadays in terms of with data?
Organization. So because what Karri said, we are trying to also shift the movement we start from the business processes. And we started there and go with the concept model, so information architecture, and then the logical, and then the physical. And so people are just trying to understand or ready to understand our philosophy, how we like to move, that we are not just doing reports, or the data platform is not just for reporting usage. Otherwise, we would be having like 250 reports asked to do, and then we could do also the information architecture by the way, and so we do have 250 information architecture models. So we try to start it from the top, from the global processes, and of course there will be variation from the business units, which can be a local like additions to the enterprise model.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we've been growing so much that data explorability is quite hard nowadays. So there's a lot of stuff, but nobody kind of is anymore. There's not one person who understands everything that's going on in our data warehouse. So probably that's the biggest issue now. How to get it into good use, the beautiful data warehouse that we've built.
Okay.
There's several teams developing, and sometimes they're not aware of what the other people are developing and things like that. So, yeah, some kind of cataloging would be nice.
There might be somebody even in the room. Anyway, let's not get there.
Yeah.
I think our biggest sort of hurdle in the near future is exactly user adoption, because the existing analytics and BI solutions have been there for like 20 years or something like that, and they're much loved and hated by the business users. So then, now that we have this shiny new platform, we have some work to do to get the business users onto that, basically, and then get rid of all the old stuff.
Yeah, old habits die hard.
Yes.
So
The system is never loved as much as it is when we're trying to take it down.
That's true.
What about the topic? I have to tap to what Joe mentioned, and that's really close to our heart as well, kind of with the product. But what about people? If it's kind of first of all, finding good people. What about if they leave? That kind of things. And how does that play any role in your kind of stack of challenges?
We are quite a new team since we've only been around for a couple of years, so basically we have almost everyone still on board. But yeah, we have been trying to recruit juniors. There are a couple of them sitting right over there. So, and training them to be like data champions at one point. But yeah, you have to kind of also understand that people will change jobs and move around, and just want to build them a nice place to work with, and that when they leave, they might want to come back at some point and bring all their new knowledge with them. So trying to keep them happy while they are with us.
Yeah, I mean, of course, great talent is always difficult to find. I guess that's not there's no secret to anybody. On our side, I guess the biggest challenge is the subject matter that we're working. The data modeling is quite difficult, so then we have to have a good relationship with our business people so that then they can tell us how to model financial instruments, or they model them and then we implement them, and that's the one of the biggest problems that we have.
Same. So of course it's difficult to find people because the markets are like overheated also. So there is a lot of also potential candidates, but then you try to specify that you find the right ones. But at the same time, you need to have the junior level also, that you balance the team, that they will also prosper in there. But I think of course there is a rotation in our team, but it's something that you need to give a lot of accountability for the people and just prospect there that you don't need the manager to decide what you need to do. So take the responsibility yourself. And that gives, I think, the accountability and some kind of even satisfaction. Or you can ask from the guys, of course, do they see it the same as I do?
Yeah. All right. About different type of question is the kind of what is the best feature within ADE for you or your teams, and why?
Maybe workflow orchestration. I like how it works. Like also runs the queries and not just build them.
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah, I like the collaboration because we went from a solution that didn't allow that to now ADE, and so that's one of the, I guess, the best things for us.
I would say simplicity, that you have a learning curve is quite short, that people really can start working with ADE, which is great.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Then we were discussing earlier, that was kind of the speed and kind of the agility and ability to deploy new innovations into the production environment. Do you guys have any knowledge of how many times you deploy in a month?
Apparently 250.
All right.
So good job.
This is not a competition, but we're aiming for one.
Thanks. You saved me. I think we looked these, and it was from production environment 110, but totally in 3 environments 11,000.
Oh, that's pretty massive. By the way, how do you know?
Arni did it for me.
We're gonna dive into that a bit later. What about this wouldn't be any kind of serious conversation if we wouldn't talk about AI, right? Have you ever heard about that, or anybody asked any?
Hype is real.
How that is impacting your teams?
Can retire early.
Overwhelming demands coming in. But basically, as If you're looking at our perspective, of course, there are production-ready solutions that are in production. Like our retail is doing their forecasting in pricing, which is actually quite good and nice solution. And then there is a predictive maintenance in the valve side in the refineries. But usually the cases are that we would like to do some AI ML stuff. Here is the CSV file, take it, do it, and then you come as an where it goes, average show, and you are a recovering data scientist.
Yeah, I've seen many demos where people you have used ChatGPT for fun reasons and trying to use Copilot or something similar to kind of build SQL queries, but not very sophisticated yet. I think my task with AI is to kind of try to manage the expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been successful?
Well, yeah, quite.
Yeah, we've taken GitHub Copilot into use in the team. That has been quite sort of, well, it's early days, but it's promising. But then from a business perspective, I mean, there's always the sort of risk and compliance department who rain on everybody's parade when business users want to do all sorts of things. Then there's still some discussions about how that fits into security and everything like that. But it'll come at some point.
Cool. What about then I know this is a kind of two ask or questions in a same time, but I'm going to go for it anyway. Do you measure your teamwork nowadays and kind of your ability to deliver the data products or kind of the end results and all that kind of stuff? And does it matter to you or your organization?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, reason for existing. But definitely I think from the team perspective is how happy they are, internal or external. Yeah. Hopefully working as a one team at Neste. It doesn't matter are you a vendor or internal. So surveys basically on there that are you happy or not? If it's not, what is wrong? And we know that because we have accelerated so fast during the last 12 months, and most of, let's say senior guys are saying this is not the right way to do it. this is nothing to do with an architecture or whatever. But we measure the team like a pulse there. Are you happy or not? And of course, from the business side, if you think about 12, 15 months back, and I just asked from the platform lead that how many business people are involved in our, let's say, incremental planning. So there are like over 100 people increased in a short time. So more people coming in. Yeah. They are like business owners, SMEs, product owners, whatever. And they want to hear out, learn more. So that is like nice thing. So we are doing something right.
Yeah, sounds really cool.
Yeah, we have there's two things. There's one that we want to be able to show the business people what we're going to deliver and when. Yeah. And then also because we employ quite a lot of consultants, so then we want to also know what those euros basically buy us. So how efficient they are in delivering the stuff that we're basically paying them to do. Yeah. They all work in the same team with the internal people as well, but that's an interesting thing that we're looking into as well.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we measure our goals, like we promise business to deliver something, and then in the end we kind of evaluate like how well those goals were reached. So that's definitely measuring. And queries like how are we doing in a sense, and also like KPIs, things like that, business wise, but like actually development work, it's still in baby steps.
Kind of, I'm just curious nowadays how it works. That I kind of obviously I would argue that you would ask bigger budget to be able to deliver bigger things to business. But kind of is that in nowadays financial environment and all that, except the banks, they have tons of money. But then the others kind of how is it easy, difficult, or kind of what are the dynamics in terms of getting the good funding for your work?
I like avoid talking about money, so it's just developer happiness.
So you just
Yeah.
kind of deliver good results and
Yeah.
the money will come.
Yeah, someone else will, handle that.
Yeah, all right.
Unfortunately, I don't have the privilege to avoid these discussions. But otherwise, on the other hand, I sit close to the CFOs, which is sitting under the cold chest. So, but it's difficult, basically, because we're calling it the performance plan, and we're looking 1 year ahead.
Yeah.
And if you think about data development and this kind of big project, how much you can achieve in 1 year, that it will be shown in the EBIT line.
Yeah.
And then you went to ask, I want to have a 10 million that we can build this cool thing here.
Yeah.
So it's difficult.
But then comes the Joe's point that
Yes.
then it kind of.
And then you just say, yeah, we're doing also AI here.
But wouldn't that be a good one?
And then it's an open check.
Yeah, I mean, well, we sort of this whole delivery or development with ADE is such a new thing that now it's the kind of the time to see whether or how much faster we can do things, and it's already looking very good. But previously, when we've been working in the on-premise environment with completely different tools, then has been a problem that it's been very slow and very costly to develop things. So
Yes.
we'll see, but it looks good.